Howard Webb, he's refereed the World Cup final, of course. No doubt refereed some of the games that you were involved in, Trevor. So you can speak with authority on this. But the question is, can one man, Howard Webb, really turn Premier League fans into VAR lovers? Is it a case of Howard Webb to the rescue here? What we know is he's going to take up his position with the PGMOL as football's first chief refereeing officer at the end of November, when his contract as North America's professional referee organisation general manager expires. Now, he's coming in here to look at it and really do what he's done over in the US. Is he the right choice, do you think? From your recollection, is Howard the man to put us on a safe track here?
I think he can be, yeah. I think from his performances as a referee when I was playing, and throughout his whole of his career, he had a good reputation. Very good operator, understands the game, understands how to speak to players on the pitch and to the management in the technical area. So if he's going to do what he's done over in America and replicate that over here, I think that's a massive positive, because where we're at the moment, and you know, I in particular, the Newcastle goal that was ruled out. Yeah, I can't understand how anyone in a room watching that on repeat gets that wrong. If they look at the whole incident, if they look at that passage of play, and you see what goes on. Now, if any player is in that VAR room, and I'm not here to be a fan and say get players in that room, but if any player is in that room and they see the push on Joe Willock and they see him collide into Guaita and they realise that it's Tyreek Mitchell who's done that push, either the goal will stand and you just say, you know what, forget about everything, let the goal stand, or it's a penalty.
Yeah.
The only decision they could get wrong was by disallowing the goal and giving a free kick. And so there's only positives to take from this. The fact that we have to wait 3 months, I think, is ridiculous, because the amount of points that are up for grabs within the next 3 months are immense, and it could be the difference between a team staying up and going down. And just what we've seen already, Cucurella decision where the hair pull, the ball was in play. VAR must see that and must realise that that is a foul play, and the goal must be disallowed. Not that I'm against Tottenham, but come on, let's get these decisions right. At the moment, they're not getting them right, and if Howard Webb can come in and get these decisions right on a more consistent basis, I think it's a good thing.
But Simon, after we saw what took place at the weekend, and there was all sorts of disquiet after some of the decisions, are we talking double standards here? We have now learned that Lee Mason, who was on VAR duty for Newcastle Palace, has been dropped for this weekend. Well, Jared Gillette, who was in VAR duty for Chelsea West Ham, has not been dropped. In fact, he's a referee for Leicester Villa. Is that not double standards?
Well, if we don't know the context of the reasons why they've been repositioned to do different games, then I suggest that we don't know. I just don't like this narrative that's been built up around VAR, because what people exclude is the fact that the statistics do not bear out the exceptions. We talked yesterday about how many goals were actually awarded by VAR against how many goals were disallowed by VAR in terms of disputed decisions, and it's actually in favour of VAR. We don't mention the fact in this conversation that they made a mistake about either the West Ham goal or the Newcastle goal, but they made a positive intervention in the Brentford game because a goal was disallowed by the on-field officials and was reinstated by VAR. VAR is not some mythical wand being wielded by Gandalf. It's something that the referees can choose to utilise and ignore if they choose. The referee in Michael Oliver went over to the monitor, turned around and said, no, thank you very much, I've made my on-field decision, I'm comfortable with it. This is just about human interaction, and the VAR supporting mechanisms. If the on-pitch guy thinks he's got it right and then goes to the monitor and still thinks he's got it right, it's up to those guys. You cannot instill leadership into these people if they aren't capable of being leaders.
No, true.
Now, Howard Webb was a leader. He did get a little bit off the reservation towards the end, did get a little bit carried away of himself, and did make himself the president of the Howard Webb fan club. But that doesn't mean that he isn't capable of coming in there and waking up this sleepy little mausoleum of the PGMOL to get people in place that are more effective. And it requires funding, it requires tolerance. You ain't going to get ex-players in there. And when you do get ex-players in there, you're going to have the next line of people like Lineker trotting out saying, but they weren't elite players. They didn't play in the Premier League, so they don't know what the Premier League consists of. And on you go. This narrative of naysayers using one example all the time, or individual examples, to be able to diminish something that's here is not helpful. broadcasters going out,
We're just
here come the fun squashers.
We're just pointing out mistakes, though, Simon. We're just pointing out mistakes that are happening way too often.
But they happen. But that's not factual.
No,
that's not factual. It's
well,
not
it is, because they've happened about 3 or 4 times over the last couple of weekends.
But it's not borne out by the stats, Trevor. Tragically, don't let the problem with sentiment. It gets in the way of fact. What people do is they take their emotions and their beliefs and their preconceived biases, right, and they go, I'm going to overlay that over facts. And the facts, VAR is not perfect. It's a long way away from being perfect, but it can't be perfect because it has human interaction with it. Yeah. And managers and players and my Uncle Tom make as many mistakes as referees do. And the problem is you've got this little gang of vociferous people that have made their mind up.
Like whom?
Well, Lineker and other people that have that, that have a perspective that is only theirs.
Ian Wright, others.
Ian Wright, and people of that nature. Yeah. And I just.
Well, they're paid to give their opinion.
Yeah, but
they're giving their opinion on
Trevor,
a certain incident.
VAR's rubbish.
Opinion's great, right? Here's what I think about opinions, and here's what I think is important about opinions. Stand them up and make them pass the test, the sniff test. Put these clowns in a room with us and let's have a debate with them about the actual statistics that do not underpin their arguments.
So what statistics are you talking about, Simon?
I'm talking about the number of times VAR intervenes against the number of times it overturns and makes a positive decision in favour of goals.
So right and wrong.
It's not fun, like the broadcaster Simon Brotherton said the other day, here come the fun squashers.
Yeah.
But that's not right.
No,
because
so
they get 47 goals last year.
They get more decisions right than they get wrong.
They do.
Of course they do.
But it's still not right. VAR is not perfect.
But what I'm saying is to get more decisions right, I think, I agree with you. I think they need investment into the into PGMO.
And they need courageous officials on the pitch.
Why wouldn't you enrich that experience of refereeing with players who've played the game and understand certain situations?
Because there's no queue of people to do it, right?
Yeah.
And if they do want to do it,
if they fund it right, I'm sure they will be.
Well, okay.
Trevor, you leave us and go and do it.
I don't disagree with that principle. But here's the reason why we've got VAR. Because
it's not about me.
The people in football wouldn't leave the on-pitch officials alone. You're not good enough, you make poor decisions, you're not fit for purpose, right? So all the time it's this endless diatribe of criticism and observations that are not constructive. People make errors. The bottom line is that everything's got to stop with the culture of the referee being fit for purpose. You either lead on that pitch and make decisions and stand by them and go and look at VAR and either back yourself and don't be influenced subconsciously or you're not a referee.
Every decision that's made.
If you notice, we're way past 10:30. We should have had a bulletin. I was sitting enjoying this, so let's see what happens when Webb comes over here and we see what can happen with Howard's Way.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.